Hi, I'm Todd with Auto Customs. Today we're going to be installing the BedRug front and rear for the Jeep Wrangler TJ. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we already went ahead and pulled out the carpet and cleaned the floorboards really thoroughly. We moved the seat all the way to the rear position. We go to the driver's side portion of it. The driver's side has the floor pad on it. We've already turned that around and we've attached our two Velcro strips to the back side of the driver's side. We're not pulling off the tape adhesive on that yet though. And we also take the smaller heat shield and put it on exactly the way the factory shows in the instructions. What we're going to do is we're going to dry fit this right in place. The notches go towards the seat. Next, to loosen up the console, we're going to go ahead and pull out the cup holder and remove the 10mm bolt from the front and rear cup holders. Now these two screws here, will take a T30 Torx bit to pull them out. So making sure we hold the rest of the BedRug in place, we went ahead and peeled back the front portion. We cleaned the surface that this is going to be adhering to with alcohol to make sure everything's thoroughly cleaned. Now we're going to peel off the tape protectant from the Velcro strip. And we're going to lay that into place and do that on both driver and passenger side on both of the Velcro strips. Now once we've done that, we can go ahead and lift the console back and fit the rug up underneath the console. Now to complete the front, we're going to go in through the back. The way we're going to do that is first going to take out the rear seat. If you don't know how to remove the rear seat, you just hit this lever, rolls forward. You then pull your seat belts out, roll the seat forward. Over here on the passenger side, we have a little clip. If we pull out that clip, we can then shift the seat over to the side, and that comes right out. Now to complete the front, for the rear portion of the front, we went ahead and we set our 3M tape, the Velcro in place. We left the tape protectant on top. Just we're going to set it into the seats like so. Now, just like we did before, what we're going to do, after we have it dry fit, we're going to peel it back in the areas where the Velcro is going to adhere. We're going to wipe those areas down with alcohol. We're going to peel off the adhesive protector, set it into place. Make sure everything stays nice and straight, and it'll go right in. Now for our rear kit, what we've done is we went ahead and cut off all of our 3M Velcro strips, and we laid them over top of the Velcro on the back side of the BedRug. Trick is you want to do the largest ones first, and then take the smaller pieces and cover up the smaller strips. Now this is for the driver's side wall. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of these impressions that are in here. We're just going to follow some of these lines to cut this stuff out so it can fit around where the seat belt is, and then also we're going to cut this out to where it can sit where the seat bracket is located. So we're just going to go from the inside and slice that apart. Now this one, we want that to be able to flip in and out, but we're not going to cut it along here. And for this piece right here, we're just going to make a small circle. Be careful not to cut yourself. Then we're going to connect like so. Now this piece we may have to do some extra trimming, so we're going to dry fit that in place and see how everything lines up. Okay, now to get everything aligned correctly, this little hole right here is going to go right around where the seat belt attaches. So we're going to slide this down into here and then slide that into place. Once that's in place, we're going to take our flap that we notched out, we're going to set that in. If you notice, the back side of here has a little line here. What that's for is this portion is going to sit actually on the floor. So what we can do, we can line this up and draw it straight down to the floor, and that aligns the bottom portion of the bed rug. Now we can go over here and see how close we are with our seat bracket. A couple things we can do is we can either loosen up the seat bracket and fit this behind and pinch the seat bracket up against the bed rug to hold it in place, or if we want to be able to pull out the bed rug easily without releasing the seat bracket, we can also take and just slightly notch on the bracket through the front side of the bed rug and then slide it back behind. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to hold this down here to keep my orientation. Now I'm just going to take and zip those tabs off. Once I've done that, I can lift it back up and slide it behind the bracket. I'm pulling it down nice and tight. I'm still catching right here, so I need to trim that just a little bit more. Now we've got it aligned, we can go ahead and start releasing Velcro adhesive to stick it in place. Before we do that, of course, we're going to wipe down the surfaces the Velcro is going to stick to with alcohol to make sure everything's thoroughly cleaned. All right, now we've got the floor portion of the rear. What we're going to do is these little squares right here we're going to cut out with the razor knife. We're going to cut just shy of that seam right there so we're not cutting into any of the stitching. Next, we're going to dry fit this into place. We're going to take our seat belts and fit them up through. So we're going to go ahead and clean off these areas with alcohol where the Velcro is going to be attaching. And then just as before, we'll peel them off and set them into place. Now we've got a total of 8 tie-down locations. If you want those to be visible and accessible, what we're going to do is we're going to hold down either side of the rug and take your utility knife. Just make a little slice right across the top of it. Push down and let it poke through. So now what we're going to do, we've got this piece laid over. This is thoroughly clean. We went ahead and removed our adhesive protector from both pieces of the Velcro. We're going to lift up our center console, lay it back down. We're going to make sure that this gets tucked underneath our front bed rug. All right, so our rear cup holder bolts are going to go through these threaded holes here. What we're going to do is take note of where those are. Slide this back into place. I'm going to take your utility knife and just kind of cut a little bit of an X right into where the hole is. That way when we drop the console back down, the bolts will line right up to the holes. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to move the factory latch cover. It comes off with a 10 millimeter. I'm going to pull those right out. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to take and line it up to this portion here. Make sure everything's nicely aligned. We can go ahead and remove that adhesive. Of course, we've prepped all these surfaces with alcohol where the 3M tape is going to be adhering. Next, what we need to do peel it back to see where the bolts are going to go through. And we're just going to take our utility knife and make a slit back to where the bolts go so they can line up. Okay, so we went ahead and reattached the rear latch cover in reverse the way we took it off. We also reinstalled the rear seat and reinstalled the cup holder or the console at the cup holders. And that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.